Hello and welcome to this special edition of Sports Talkies with me, Clinton D'Souza. Today, I usually bring the sporting stars, but today I have brought someone in this studio who is the backbone when it comes to a proper report, a proper kind of when you give proper analytics. And for that, I have with me Shashwat Kamath, a young boy who has been in this field of sports, especially football, for last 3 years. He started off as a marketing person, but then he saw that his vision and his talents and his skills would help several teams when it comes to performance analytics. And I have with me Shashwat here. Shashwat, welcome to Herald.
Hi.
First of all, Shashwat, as we know, you are actually say. By the way, viewers, Shashwat is one of the youngest in India when it comes to performance analysis. So tell me, Shashwat, you were into marketing. You were a marketing student as well. So what made you a change? Did you find any hurdles before going in analytics? Did you find any hurdles when it comes to marketing?
So basically, what happened was when I joined college, I used to study in Government Polytechnic Panjim. So it was my first year, and then COVID came into the picture. Like just before COVID, I started with FC Goa as a college ambassador. So it led with me being in marketing, promoting the brand in colleges, various colleges, trying to sell tickets and trying to bring out most of the people, like the fans, who come in to support the club. So as and when I started working with them in that field, it started giving me a sense of understanding how a football clubs work in the marketing perspective, like in the PR as well. So as time went on, COVID came into the picture, and then in January 2021, I joined them as a marketing intern. So basically, FC Goa would have something called as a soccer camps thing. So since they have a tie-up with RB Leipzig from Germany, so I joined them as an intern there. So when I joined as an intern there, I started working in the marketing, and they started teaching me various new skills which would help me develop as a person and as a uh, in a professional way, like my personality. They helped me to develop my personality, and that's when things started getting better. So from marketing, later on I joined the sponsorship team as well as an intern, and I started learning more. So as and when time went, I started working as a stadium operations guy as well, and later on opportunity came up in September 2021, which was being the performance analyst for the women's team of FC Goa, the senior team. So that's when everything started actually. So it came out of nowhere. And the thing is that I had always had this in the back of my mind that I would want to know what happens behind the football team. Like, suppose if a team wins, why does the team win? What are the various tactics that go behind the team and what really happens? So when that came into the picture, I said I'll take this job up. And when I started with the women's team, slowly and steadily I started getting into the other teams as well, like the reserve team, the first team, the youth teams. So basically, I started getting an insight on how the football teams work from the backside. Like we always see the coach and the players doing the stuff, but there are people who work behind the scenes as well. So that's what gave me a deep insight actually to understand this better.
You covered actually my next question, but now basically, what does an analysis do actually?
So basically, the thing is that see, there are various roles of an analyst. So there is opposition analysis, there is the own team analysis, like pre-match analysis, post-match analysis. So pre-match, see, you have to record trainings and everything. It depends on the coach as well. So if the coach wants training sessions, he wants to see how the players are performing at a certain level, and if the coach finds that he's trying out a new variation or new style of play, would want that to be recorded so that he wants to know how the team works. That's one thing. Secondly, now when we come to playing a professional match, we would want to get as much insights as possible on the opposition team that we are playing against. So if we are playing against Panjab footballers, for example, we would get most of the information covered up. How Panjam footballers plays, what are their tactics, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, how we can exploit them. So basically, that's what we do. And besides that as well, we look for players who suit our similar style of play. So if there is a player, specific player who we are looking for, like in the left back position, we would target a certain player. We would have various ranges of players, like from a set of players, and then we would look at it, and whoever would be suitable enough, we would take him in, and basically we would just suggest it to the coach, the management, and the management would act on it. So basically what we do is that we try to identify talents as we try to help the team in various other positions, be it in opposition analysis, be it with the own team analysis. So there's another thing. So we, as an analyst, we use GPS trackers for all the players, like for the first team and everything. So because it was FC Goa, they gave me a chance to work with the first team. I was assisting my head analyst. So that's when I got to know more about this, like how the GPS trackers work, how they track everything, and how much distance they cover, what is the speed, total average, everything. Like it gave me basically a lot more insights on how the football team works at the top tier. And since I work with the youth teams as well, I could see the difference of how things work in various teams. So
What you said you spoke about your journey when it comes to youth team to the reserve team to the first team. Now, what are the challenges that an analyst faced? Like how difficult is the job of analysis?
So basically, an analyst has to be up every single day. He doesn't have any holiday. So if you need to go on a break, still you'll have to work even though you're on the break. It's just that the team requires your help most of the times. You have to keep giving your best for the team. And that's what you stay up late at nights, you wake up early in the morning, go for training sessions, come back, try to clip the videos, go back, try making reports on the opposition team that you're playing against. So the life of an analyst is tough, but it is enjoyable because you work with the team closely, you get to know the players, you speak to them every single day about football. And if you love football, then every single time you keep getting into this picture and it makes you feel better. So people who are passionate about football, they wouldn't feel like they are working. It would be like they are just following their passion and giving their best. So that's what I felt. So I was doing engineering first of all. So when I came into this field, it is like a sports field and there's two different paths. But when I came into this, I felt like I am following my passion and it is not making me feel that I'm working.
Even I know you personally also before also you could move into football. I've seen how enthusiastically you used to follow football, the passion that you had, the craze that you had for football. So do you think that your passion and love towards football have driven you over here so far?
I would say that, yes, because mainly I would say if I started following Indian football, it was because of this club itself, FC Goa. So when the Indian Super League came into the picture in 2014, it was like the first time I attended a match of an Indian football team, like a football club, sorry. And it was like I've never felt anything like that, and it started making me love football more and more. I would watch Cristiano, I would watch Messi earlier in the days, but then it wouldn't drive me that much like watching football. But then since the Indian Super League came into the picture and since FC Goa also came into the picture, I started loving football more than ever. And I used to be a cricket fan. Now, though, I'm a very much less of a cricket fan, but more of a huge football fan. So I stay up late nights, watch UCL games, everything. So
you were in Goa with one of the top teams in Goa. Then you also went to Bengaluru and you were part of Bengaluru. So how was the transition between Goa and Bengaluru?
So the thing is, they always say that the home is where the heart is. So when you leave the heart back home and you go forward to Bengaluru, it was a huge transition because Bengaluru work in a different way and FC Goa work in a different way. Bengaluru have been a professional setup and they have support from JSW Sports as well. So they are very much more professional into this thing. So FC Goa have a day boarding program and BFC, Bengaluru FC, they have an academy and their academy is split into various different parts. So when I went there, it was like totally a new thing for me. So I could do, I mean that I could get as much as information possible there. And it was helping me slow and steadily, but then due to family reasons, I had to drop off and I have to come back home.
Now, you are one of the youngest, okay, one of the youngest in India. So when it comes to having more kind of analysis, how difficult it is for people to know about this and enter into this?
So basically for me, so I used to watch these videos on YouTube and everything. Like I used to follow some football tactic person, like I used to subscribe to that channel and I would keep watching the video. Like he would post about Madrid versus Bayern, how Madrid beat Bayern using Zidane's tactics, and something like that. So it was like I started getting into that thing, but I didn't have any qualification in that field. But then FC Goa, they trusted me with being a analyst with the women's team. They handed me my first assignment, which was the women's team, and they saw me that I was understanding the thing better. So they would always help me understand the role better. They would teach me about data analysis. They would teach me about performance analysis, opposition analysis. So they would always help me grow into this field. So I would say without having any qualification also you can get there, but you just need that support and the push, which FC Goa provided to me.
Okay.
And
But how do you see the career, like to be an analyst, a sports analyst, what do you see the career rate in India or in Goa?
right now, a lot of people are not
Aware of it.
Yeah, not aware of it as such, because even the sports industry is not that much grown in India besides only cricket. People only want to get into cricket, but there are a lot of sporting colleges and all that are coming up in India trying to build up jobs for all these people who are enthusiastic about sports. So being an analyst, though, a lot of people don't know what an analyst is. People just think that they just record the games and that's it. That's not really the thing. They do a lot of work behind the scenes which they can't speak about and which they can't reveal. Yeah, because they always have to help the team. So that's basically the thing.
Now, when it comes to, I asked you whether the career thing, but what are the challenges that you face when it comes to being a part of this genre of analysis?
So basically, when I started working as an analyst, I had to keep track of my time and the work that I do. So basically, I required time management skills. So that's what I developed while working as an analyst. Because if you're working as an analyst, you have to have a proper schedule. If you're going for training, you have to go for training. After that, you have to sit for reports, you have to make reports. Plus, you have to watch other games which are going on across India, across various states, looking out for players who can potentially be a part of your team. So that's when this comes into the picture. Plus, you have to know how to present the report that you are making. Like suppose if you make out a report and you are presenting it to the head coach, you should know how you will be presenting it to them. If you are not being able to present it, but you have all the thing which is going on in your head, it doesn't work like that, right? So in the start, I was facing a few problems about expressing myself about what I used to feel about the game and everything. But like we all say, trust is always a major part. So when the people started trusting me and started giving me much more time, I started getting into this field better. I started presenting my reports better. I could speak to the people, could ask them about what I'm doing wrong and how I can improve. So it's always about learning. So the day you stop learning, that is the day you end up with everything. You don't end with anything, sorry. But if you keep learning, if you have that attitude of keep learning, if you're keeping learning about every single thing that you do, then it's the best thing to do. Because once you keep learning, you keep growing.
See, you grew and you learned when it comes to YouTube and social media. Do you think this digital era, because earlier there was no much, earlier in the past, I could say maybe 2 decades or maybe 1 decade back, there were no analysis and all. We were to just watch the game in reality, make notes and then
exactly.
But now do you think with the era of digitalization, this digital era, time of digital when it comes to social media and all digital, do you think it has changed and evolved, which has made it better for people like you in this
I
genre?
think that is a very good question, because like you said, like you pointed out, people earlier, they used to make notes and they used to express those notes in the form of instructions in the next thing, like in the next game, like before the game. And now since the digitalization has come into the picture, the thing is that analysts have a wide area of data which comes to them, like maybe how many passes they have completed, total number of passes completed, total number of successful passes, unsuccessful passes, shots on target, shots off target. So something like this and plus more. So this helps the analyst to make out a very good report using Tableau. You can do visualizations and you can express everything in that, because if you have visuals, the coach always loves that. And since you're recording the game, you know that where the players are making their error. So you cut out the clip, you send it to them. So basically when this happens, it makes the coach also understand that what is going wrong. they can show it to the player as well. But yeah, digitalization has helped the analysts because it has provided them with huge amounts of data about all these players. So suppose in the previous days, if you wanted to look out for a player, you had to go there, like be physically present, and that was like a traditional scouting method. But now, since the digitalization has come into the picture, I can sit here and I can look out for a player who is playing in Europe. And that is like basically a technical scouting thing because I have his data, like how many goals he has scored in how many games and every single thing. But when it comes to this, there are two different things and they vary. So some clubs, they prefer both, like traditional scouting methods and
digital.
as well as digital, like technical scouting. But some clubs only look out for technical scoutings. So if you can't go and watch the games there, they try to find out data from various websites, maybe StatsBomb, Instat, Scout. So these are the websites that provide you with a lot of data about all these players, about the leagues and every single thing. So even for the Indian Super League, Instat was the software which I used to use when I was with FC Goa. And it used to give me a lot of data about what has happened with a certain specific player, about his heat maps and every single thing. So that would always help me make a good report and show it forward.
Which is better, the traditional or the technical?
I would say that you require both because if you are doing the technical scouting, you don't know, it is like subjective. You don't really know what is happening with the player. Maybe the player is not being able to score because he's injured, but he's just playing a few minutes, maybe 9 minutes or 10 minutes every game. So when you look at it from a technical scouting perspective, it will show that he's doing poor, like he's poor on form. But when you go there, when you find out that he's been injured and he's not been playing much, that's when the things start changing, right?
Okay. Where do you, I'm almost coming to an end, where do you see the future of sports analyst? Irrespective whether it's cricket, football, hockey, any kind of sport. But with regards to sports analyst, what do you have to say? And then I'll ask you a counter question on that.
So basically, I would say that a lot of clubs are looking out for analysts now because they all want to develop in this field. Like they want to gather more and more information on their own players as well as the opposition players, which would help them go forward in the long run. Because the role of an analyst is something which assists the head coach, the whole management, because they usually have that data and every single thing which they can use and they can go forward. So when it comes to an analyst, I think it will keep growing in India because in Europe and all other places, they require a technical analyst and they have various departments like in the technical analysis and every single thing. Like here in India, so it will keep evolving as time goes on. But yeah, I don't see it happening anytime soon, but it will take some time.
And what about football analyst?
In football, though, a lot of people are getting into football in the football analysis field. So a lot of people get in touch on LinkedIn asking how do you get into the football analysis thing and everything. So when it comes to this, some people do certifications. There are various courses which keep going on. So when I joined BFC, so I didn't have any certifications or anything because I had already had work experience working with all these teams. But after that, I said having a certification would be a good thing. So I started a course on a performance analysis thing and I got my certifications done. So basically, there are all these websites who would try and help you out and making you understand what a role of a performance analyst is and how the things work. So basically, that's it. There's nothing much.
Last is that what do you have to say when it comes to having more analysis from Goa?
I mean, see, I also got into this field by exploring it. I didn't know what an analyst was until I got into that role. I didn't know that there was an analyst working behind the scenes, helping the team out. Like always, the people focus on the players and the coaches, but there is someone else also who tries to help out the coaching staff and the players from his own perspective, and that is a good thing. So what happened was when I became an analyst, I started understanding that better, that what the role is, how do you get into it.
I think with that, we come to an end of this episode. I will see you next week with another sports personality affiliated to the field of sports. This is Clinton D'Souza signing off. Keep watching Herald.